if you're going to, let's say, shit. I mean, what was the restaurant that you went to where they served focaccia that like wasn't necessarily Italian?
Fuck. Just like I don't even know what the name of the sandwich shop was, but they were all either on like focaccia was like the main loaf, and then you could get like 9 grain, but it was some like random deli, like Zane's Deli or something like that. Shout out to Zane. But I was like, this is so weird. And then I asked the chef or the pizza chef at the restaurant, and I was like, I've noticed y'all are like 3 or 4 of y'all all are doing focaccia. He was like, I do it because it's fucking easy. And maybe I was hoping that you could answer this. Do you know enough, or do we need to go get the funky baker again?
I mean,
because like we have a sourdough community more than anything, I feel like, or a ciabatta.
Yeah, I mean, focaccia is fairly easy, but making like really good focaccia is hard. But I mean, like, you know, like Tavernetta's focaccia is delicious. But that obviously that one's a hard and long process to make. But I feel like as far as breads go, you can make a pretty decent focaccia with relatively little practice.
Okay. So I wasn't sure, but I was like, maybe because I wondered if it was the climate, you know, because that could possibly have been a thing, you know.
Yeah.
Or because it was, you know, just closer to the water. There's always the fog and the colder weather. I didn't know if it was a humidity thing versus like why we don't.
Maybe they just like focaccia.
I feel like it may just be like that's a vibe up there. They're like that, and the homeless crowd was aces. So I took my own doja, so I didn't really go to the dispensary. Continued on the trek. The location was gorgeous. Shout out to Simone and Parker. Congratulations. We're happy for y'all. It was just a perfect location. It was ideal, but you didn't have any lick of cell service. There was no TV. There was no nothing. So it was actually really kind of fun to like just leave your phone inside. And I took like 4 pictures. I think everyone already saw them on social media, but that was all they got. You know, like didn't get anything with the groom or the bride. But I will say that the restaurant or the lodge cooked all of the food for, like, their chef did it. The steak was magnificent. But this is what they were known for, Chris. Tell me how hard this fucks. It's a fried trout sandwich.
A fried trout sandwich.
So it's a trout fillet, deep fried, topped with arugula and a capers mayo on like a big Kaiser loaf. Not
focaccia. Hold on. Okay, real quick. Was the trout breading kind of similar to like what you would see on like fried catfish we're used to, or was it a little different?
I would say it would compare best to like a chicken cutlet.
Okay.
You know how because it's going to be thinner. It's not going to like break as easily because it's more of a sandwich, so it's kind of like planked.
Yeah.
You know, so it's got a little more oomph to it. You bite into it and it kind of like crisps off. So it's not just going to like fold over like a fat piece of catfish or something like that. It has a little bit more of its own strength and integrity. And it was fucking delicious. So we were able to eat that. Trout, obviously, I'm not going to ask why that's a regular on the menu. And then burgers and sandwiches. It was a great time, Chris. But I'll tell you one thing that is interesting. So we had some mushroom bars from there. Shout out to the folks at Lot Gossip. They were also at the wedding. They had a mushroom bar shared with us. We enjoyed it. It was delightful to the point where we decided we're just going to fly back with it. Fuck it. TSA has just given up trying, like at least in that aspect. Like they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a flying fuck about drugs. There's a lot more other things to worry about than some dude carrying back a mushroom bar.
Well, funny that you say that. So I oftentimes don't wear underwear in the summer. So on the flight there, it's not weird. It's normal. No. A lot of people do it. Yeah.
Yeah, free balling.
Yeah. So anyway, I got walked through the metal detector at the thing, and it said that I had something roughly around my left buttocks cheek. And they were like, come here, we're going to have to swab you and check your waistline. Like, they were thinking I was, like, putting some in my belly, and I was like, yeah, go for it. I was like, oh, by the way, I'm not wearing underwear. And he was like, me neither. And I was like, oh, my God. I didn't mean that. I'm not putting my hands in your pants. And I was like, that's really well played. I was like, and then he was like, but I have gloves on. I was like, okay, thank you. That was like, damn it. That like he called me off guard. I was like knee slapping. Shout out to Dave Chappelle for doing this. Yeah, where he just hits his leg. That's what I was doing. I was just knee clapping. It was fucking hilarious. Meanwhile, he had his hand in my backside of my britches with no underwear. It was a little sweaty on Thursday too, so I saw the weather was a little rough. But luckily for us, we have a pretty gnarly weather this week, Chris. It's going to be an an epic array of action with Meow Wolf's opening up Thursday night. So the festivities start to begin. Speaking of mushrooms, good thing we brought them back. And for those that are curious, it's that big white, pretty much monstrosity you can see from the interstate right there at the Colfax exit next to the football stadium. That's the big ass Meow Wolf. And it's going to be a poppin' scene. You can get tickets through their website. I don't think it takes walk-ins, so go do it that way. And from how it's been explained to me, this is a tip from the insiders of, I don't know, Santa Fe or something. Don't get tickets for before 6 o'clock, because otherwise it's just kids everywhere. And then so if you're trying to go in there and be like, oh, I'm tripping and I'm doing drugs, I don't think you want to do it with a bunch of 7-year-olds running around like fucking playing with everything. Just what I've been given the advice of, so I bought late tickets as well. Recommend that. Next thing on the docket, you know what else is going on Thursday, Chris?
A food festival.
There is a food festival, and you are correct. So Rare Steak Fest this Thursday. It's at Sculpture Park down next to the Performing Arts Center. They're going to have like 14 or something locations, restaurants or something. I don't know who their wine vendors are. We're not actually directly affiliated with them, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But I know that we went last year, and it was a fucking bitchin' good time. So when you see that's on the menu or on the calendar, and you're listening to this like, shit, I don't really have anything to do Thursday night, and you want to catch a serious buzz and eat steak and meet some restaurateurs and see where you kind of want to find your next date night, fucking go buy these Rare Steak tickets. There may be a few left. I have no clue. Check their website. Google Rare Steak Fest, because, again, I don't know it. But it's a fucking party. It was easily the most fun food festival pre-COVID that we had, that I recall.
Yeah, I didn't go to that with you lot.
I think I went with Zach Richard from Dank Eats.
Okay.
He snuck me in.
What was that one? I feel like one of the funnest ones I've been to, what was it, the Big Eats? Was that one?
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
That one we had a good time.
Okay, so here's one for you. This is another shoot from the hip. You know, we talk about a bunch of different kinds of food festivals. What's a food festival that would make you constantly erect? Like, if you were just like, oh, this is it. It's like best fried chicken, or like, what would your food festival of heaven be? Like, mine would probably be like a Nola shrimp, or like a fried shrimp po' boy, or an oyster, something along those lines. What would your ideal food?
I feel like food festivals that like maybe celebrate multiple and various regions with different dishes would be better than saying like
bring your best of this one thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like Burger Battle and things like that are really fun, but I mean, like,
variety's cooler.
Yeah, and like, I mean, the suburbs of the Denver metro area have a lot of ethnic diversity, especially when it comes to cuisines. So I would love to see some kind of like huge kind of sampling of like some type of diverse festival.
So that's a great fucking idea. Like, you know, we do these themed dinners, you know, where we do like all one genre, and we joked that maybe on the next one, because most of our friends are all same, you know, plain Jane, same age, you know, kind of same middle class, whatever world background, different races here and there, but mainly white. We talked about doing one that would be brings a dish from your hometown, which, you know, so most of us are all from America, so it'd be hometown. If you did one of those where it's like, come represent your hometown, but you went and got folks that were like under the radar you didn't know about, or even did food trucks and just had like 25 different fucking styles of food truck. Oh, Chris, you're talking about heaven. That's a great idea.
I feel like they have like those big food truck festivals, but yeah.
But last time I feel like there's always like a common theme. Like I did one where it was like mac and cheese festival, and there was like 12, you know, or 25 different mac and cheeses, and you don't even want to try them all, you know. So like, how many do you think you could get through? Like I didn't get through all the burgers at the Burger Battle,
right? You
know, so 25 may be a little bit much. You need like 15 food and 5 alcohol.
Yeah, and on that note, I feel like the Big Eats. Referring back to that food festival, I felt like that had a large, I mean, it was obviously like all the restaurants that you love around Denver, but I felt like they didn't like there wasn't one thing they focused on. Everybody provided something different, that was from their restaurant. So you got a real mix of everything. Not just one focused dish like a burger or something like that.
Yeah. I wonder if we could put one on like that.
That would require a ton of planning.
I'm a planner. Look
yeah,
how well we're doing
you got to
here.
get sponsorships. You got to get locations.
Oh, I struggle with those things.
Yeah.
But I do love...
Shout out to Callie's and Seed and Smith.
Hell yeah. And we fucking ride with ours so hard. Like, if you're our sponsor, we got to fucking bat for you. All right, so Steak Rare Fest Thursday. But Thursday, that's not all. We have the Denver Beer Co. episode. Our friend Steve Karowski is working with them now. They have a whole kitchen on that South Downing location. I think we talked lightly about it last time, or a couple episodes back when I visited it. But they have like an ice cream parlor over there and like a little grassy knoll for the young families that have kids. It's a perfect 1, 2, 3 stop if you have like a family of bikers. Like, if y'all are all bike riding shit together.
Yeah.
It's a wholesome environment, I think is the best way to describe it. And so we're going to go in there and fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
make it even more family friendly.
Yeah. We're going to teach them some words. Yeah. So that should be a good time. That'll drop on Friday. We're going to join them Thursday afternoon, and that'll drop Friday. And then, Chris, you know what that means? We're down to our last segment of the night. We're 30 minutes in, which is pretty good. And this one takes about 10 minutes. So we'll get out of here and give everyone about 45-minute episode with a little bit of tomfoolery. But before we get into the high five, I want to give a quick shout out to the premium pre-rolls from Seed and Smith. I grab a 5-pack. It makes life so much easier. You don't even have to worry about it. You just keep those things in the car, grab one, twist it up when you get out at the park. Fucking excellent. They're a quick hitter, especially for something like a high five. If you're on the go, the hard plastic case keeps everything safe and sound, like when you're camping. And they don't use there's no seeds, sticks, no stems. It's just premium flour in their pre-rolls. So you're not going to get into that Bush League bullshit. Go check it out. All right, Chris, you ready? The high five tonight are spots that you missed, that have closed from our community here in the Metro Denver area. Boulder, Front Range, even the mountains, just places that you miss. So I'm going to let you do the honors because my number one is fucking Alpha.
Yeah, I'm not sure what your number one is, but I have a good guess, and it is an Alpha, I believe. But to kick things off, this is kind of a sad episode because I'm going to miss some of it. I'm bringing back memories. So one spot, shout out to South Broadway, Lania.
Oh.
It used to be a Latin American spot. I believe, what's that pizza joint is now occupying? Giordano's now occupies that space. But prior, Lania had a killer happy hour, delicious empanadas, just a whole mix of Latin American inspired dishes. And it was a cool setting, and it was
shrimp chorizo was fuckworthy.
Yeah, and it was reasonably priced. Like you could get out of there, in fairly with your wallet intact. Like I remember, I think when my sister and some of her friends visited, we went there for dinner one night and had a great time. But yeah, I miss that vibe. The space is really cool. And in my opinion, it's too cool for a pizza joint, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, shout out to Lania. I miss you.
Chain pizza joint, no less.
Yeah.
Especially because that neighborhood really does pop. And so, like, all those little local spots right there, it really was great. It was the shrimp and chorizo in that cast iron dish that came with a little bit of grilled bread, not focaccia. And it was so fucking good.
Yeah, and the bar was huge. And it was just a fun spot.
Smaller size, but great happy hour deals as well. So that was a good call. I like that spot a lot, Chris.
Yeah.
Good one. My first one, I think I talk about this one all the time. I wasn't going to let you pick it. If I thought this one was on your board, I would have not volunteered you to go first. It's Tom's Home Cooking, a 5-point staple from the early 2000s to mid 2000s. It was Southern soul food cooked by two genius dudes. I don't know what they're up to these days, but I know that the building is now currently occupied by another fucking chain restaurant in Bird Call. And I tell you what, Chris, the fucking influencer scene is just getting absurd with just going ham, like sucking the dick of these, like everyone's just blowing these companies that have like 58 locations. They're like, this is the best chicken. Go fucking support local business. Like, stop doing Wendy's commercials. That's what you're doing when you're doing these. Like,